faith and the fragility of life have been so heavy on my mind and my heart lately, I ain't been able to think about nothing else. So I decided to share what's been coming up for me in hopes that it encourages somebody else in the same way that it encourages me. So I was forced to see life through the lens of fragility with the sudden passing of my mom 8 years ago. And now with my dad fighting for his life, that same intense feeling has risen up for me. And so as I've been praying, like, God, like, please save my dad's life, please give him a full recovery and all of that, like, God reminded me that folks who are on their deathbed and folks who are fighting for their lives are not the only ones fighting for their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because he's in that state from a physical health space, and yes, he's fighting for his life that way, and life seems that much more fragile through him, life is also fragile for everybody else. It's just more apparent in him. And that joint slapped me across the face. And this is where I'm saying faith and the fragility of life kind of go hand in hand, because when we see life as fragile, of losing somebody suddenly or seeing somebody getting sick or whatever it is, we're reminded how fragile life is, which then forces us, some of us, right, to think about faith, right, and having faith for them to get healed. But then it challenges me to think, like, how am I living and walking in faith for all the things that God has put on my heart for me to do, but then also to be reminded that I don't have a whole bunch of time to do all the things that I want to do, or to be a blessing, or to impact or live out my purpose with confidence the way that I want to, the way that I desire to, that I don't have a whole bunch of time. So it kind of hit me in a, like, what are you waiting for kind of way, right? Like, it hit me in a YOLO kind of way. Like, how do I work and activate my faith? Because life is just as much fragile for me as it is for somebody in the hospital, right? Like, something could happen to me today, tomorrow, whenever, right, before it ends up happening to somebody who may be suffering with a life-threatening illness. So my challenge to you, my encouragement to you, is not for this to be a morbid message, but for this to be a message of, like, how are we working in faith? How are we moving out? Like, how are we remembering that life is fragile, even when we're 100% healthy, things are going well, life is on the up and up, you're on the come up, all those different things. Like, do we remember that life is fragile? And then for those who are in a situation like myself or my family, where you literally have the fragility of life looking you and staring you in the face, how do I right now move through grief knowing that my dad's life can be taken at any second, but then also so can mine? I may feel healthy and he may look unhealthy, but that doesn't mean that I will naturally outlive him. So now I obviously have a tangible thing that I can look at and see, but in the same way, this can apply to anybody's life. So my encouragement to you is to count it all joy. My encouragement to you is to be present. My encouragement to you is to cherish every single moment of your life, of the people who's in your life, who you care for, who you do life with, who love you, to tap into that, to lean into that, because we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you don't know what could happen today, tomorrow, and the next day, and we don't want anything to, but we don't control anything. As much as life likes to make it seem, and I'm the biggest planner in all of those different things, life will remind you on a daily basis that you don't control ish. And that's scary. And that's a part of the fragility, is that we get to hold life in our hand with our palm open and realize I don't ultimately control any of this. I can create as many plans as I want, but I don't control any of it. But how do I then in turn work in faith for things that I only hope? And so the last thing I want to say is this, is that faith is not faith without faith. And what I mean by that is you have to have faith in faith. And if you don't have faith in faith, the faith ain't going to faith, right? So what that means is if I have just the inkling, a small amount of faith that said thing is going to happen and come true, then all I got to do is act in that in the smallest way. And that, in fact, is faith. So for those who have faith, have a little bit of faith, who feel like they're losing faith, who feel like they don't want to have faith anymore, just keep moving. Just keep working, just keep believing, keep praying, keep showing up for whatever the case may be, is for your dreams coming true, for somebody getting healing. And the thing that I'm having to challenge myself is even if those things don't take place, do I still have faith? Even if my dad is not fully healed, do I still have faith? Even if the things that I have, the desires in my heart, I don't see them happening in my timing, do I still have faith? So again, I encourage you to live with the fragility of life in faith at the front, in the top of your mind, not just when you're reminded of them because something has happened or somebody or something has been taken away from you, but also when things are on the up and up, and to cherish, right? Cherish what you have, cherish the people that you have, take not necessarily advantage in a negative way, but take advantage of the opportunities. Don't take for granted of the things and the people that you have. right? Encourage yourself to be present, because when you can encourage and challenge yourself to be present, that's the only way that you can have peace. And when you have peace, that joint is priceless.